Hey, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you've been in that place where you're doing everything right, and yet somehow your body feels like it's not cooperating. Maybe you've had test results come back and you're trying to decode what they actually mean. Maybe you've sat in a clinic office and felt like a problem to be solved rather than a person to be heard. I've been there, and what I want to share with you today changed how I see fertility entirely. Fertility is not just about fixing, it's about listening. This video is about what happens when we start treating our bodies as messengers, not malfunctions. Takeaway number 1. A diagnosis is information, not a verdict. Your body is not broken, it's communicating. The problem with how we approach fertility. Here's what I see again and again. Maybe you recognize this in yourself. People come into the fertility space hopeful, but they're also completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information. They want clear guidance. They're grieving losses, sometimes quickly because life is busy, work is demanding, and grief doesn't pause for a schedule. And so many of them feel alone or quietly wonder, is there something wrong with me? And the healthcare system doesn't always help with that, because conventional fertility care is often designed around fixing one thing, one number, one organ, one person. But here's what the research and clinical experience consistently shows. Fertility is a whole body, whole couple phenomenon, and yet male factor fertility is one of the most overlooked pieces of the conversation. Let me be specific here. Male factor infertility contributes to about 40 to 50% of all infertility cases, and yet in many couples' journey, the male partner receives a basic semen analysis. And if the count looks okay, that's often where the investigation stops. But morphology, the shape of the sperm, tells a very different story. And stress is often the missed variable that no one talks about. Takeaway number 2. Male factor fertility is involved in roughly half of all infertility cases. Both partners need to be assessed fully, not just superficially. My story and why this got personal. I want to share something with you that I haven't always talked about openly. When my husband and I were going through our IVF journey, as we tried for a second child, his semen analysis came back with morphology at 3%. Just 3%, meaning only 3 in 100 sperm were properly formed, and everything else looked excellent. Count, motility, strong. But that morphology number was the piece no one really sat down to talk to us about in depth. I had to go digging, and what I found kept pointing back to one thing: stress. Real physiological stress, the kind that alters how the body produces and protects sperm, the kind that disrupts the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, the hormonal feedback loop that governs reproduction function in both men and women. Stress and poor sleep and poor eating habits have a great effect on our body's ability to metabolize the world around us. And sperm, because it has a roughly 72-day production cycle, is a direct window into what a man's body has been experiencing for the past 2.5 months. So we started doing the work. He began icing. We found an at-home sperm testing option through Bird and Bee to track changes over time. And we focused on nervous system regulation, not a wellness trend, but a genuine clinical intervention, including a diet high in polyphenols. We chose to continue trying naturally, and I want to be clear that was the right choice for us. Your path may look different, but the principle that guided us is the same one I want to offer to you. You're not broken. You are adapting to your environment, and you can change your environment. Takeaway number 3. Sperm morphology and motility respond to lifestyle changes. Because of the 72-day sperm production cycle, interventions made today show results in about 3 months, making nervous system regulation a real, measurable clinical tool. The science of rhythm, stress, and fertility. Let's talk about what's actually happening in the body. Our body loves rhythm. The circadian rhythm governs the release of hormones like cortisol, melatonin, LH, and FSH. When that rhythm is disrupted through poor sleep, erratic eating, or chronic stress, it sends a ripple effect through the entire reproductive system. In women, chronic stress and poor sleep have been shown to affect menstrual cycle regularity, egg quality, and implantation. In men, elevated cortisol has been directly linked to lower testosterone and reduced sperm quality. Now, here's what's important. When I talk about stress, I'm not only talking about psychological stress, I'm also talking about oxidative stress at a cellular level. Environmental toxins, plastics, pesticides, heavy metals, endocrine disruptors create oxidative stress in the body. And sperm are particularly vulnerable because they have very little cytoplasm and therefore limited antioxidant defense. This is why for the last several years, I've been intentional about creating an environment inside my home that reduces my exposure. Toxins are all around us, but there's so much we can do through food, herbs, lifestyle changes, and TCM to support the body's natural detoxification system through the pathways of elimination and protective systems. I want to say something about the marker that so many people are fixated on, AMH, anti-Müllerian hormone. AMH on its own is not a sign of conception or infertility. It reflects ovarian reserves, not egg quality, not your body's readiness, not your outcome. I've watched markers improve over time because we treated the whole system, not just the number. Takeaway number 4. AMH is not a fertility verdict. The body responds to rhythm. Consistent sleep, nourishment, and movement are medicine. Oxidative stress from environmental toxins directly impact egg and sperm quality. What actually moves the needle? So what do we actually do with all this? First, rhythm. Consistent sleep and wake times. Meals at regular intervals to support cortisol patterns. Movement that feels restorative, not pushing. These are not small things. These are the foundation. Second, nervous system regulation. For my husband, this looked like deliberate cool down practices, including scrotal cooling, which has emerging evidence for improving sperm quality. It also looked like breathing, reducing caffeine in the afternoon, and protecting the hours before sleep. Third, traditional Chinese medicine. There is so much we can do with TCM using herbs, acupuncture, and acupressure to support blood flow to the reproductive organs, to regulate hormones, and reduce systemic inflammation. The research is growing and the clinical outcomes are meaningful. Fourth, environmental awareness. Look at what you're putting in and on your body. Swap out plastics where you can. Prioritize clean food. Reduce fragrance exposure. These aren't fear-based recommendations. They're practical steps that reduce the toxic load your body is managing every day. And finally, emotional honesty. Many people believe they are not worthy of love or of children, but they never say that out loud. Fertility grief is real and layered. Suppressing it doesn't make it go away. It shows up in the body. Finding space to process, whether through therapy, community, or simply being witnessed, is part of the healing. Takeaway number 5. Rhythm is medicine. Sleep, meals, and movement, practiced consistently, create the hormonal environment that conception requires. TCM, nervous system regulation, and emotional processing are not optional extras. They are core interventions. My own body taught me this. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's in 2021, and within 7 months, while doing this work, conceived naturally and gave birth to my son in 2023. I'm not sharing that as a just do what I did story. I'm sharing it because I want you to know that a diagnosis can be a starting point, not a conclusion. That the body's capacity to recalibrate when given the right inputs is profound. Preparing for conception in a world filled with stress and toxins requires intention. It requires us to work smarter, not just harder. It requires us to believe that our body is worth listening to. Takeaway number 6. A Hashimoto's diagnosis or any autoimmune diagnosis is not the end of the story. The body responds to intentional care. Listening to it is the first act of treatment. Here's what I want you to take away from everything we covered today. You're not broken. You're not a number on a lab report. You are a whole person in a whole relationship, navigating a world that is genuinely stressful. And your body is doing its best to communicate with you through every cycle, every result, and every symptom. When we listen, really listen, we find the information we need and we find the way forward. The diagnosis is information, not a verdict. If you want to go deeper on all of this, the lifestyle medicine, the hormonal foundation, the nervous system work, the environmental strategies, I've put it all together in the Optimal Fertility Blueprint. It's the framework I wish I had at the beginning of my own journey. The link is below. And if you resonated with this video, please subscribe. Share it with someone who needs it. And if you want to talk through what you're experiencing, my DMs are open. Takeaway number 7. You are not alone in this. Fertility is not a solo journey, and it doesn't have to be navigated with overwhelm. Clear guidance, community, the right framework make all the difference. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you've been in that place where you're doing everything right, and yet somehow your body feels like it's not cooperating. Maybe you've had test results come back and you're trying to decode what they actually mean.